On the ground, beneath the rivers, and within the ocean, the tales of enduring the wild are truly worlds apart. Welcome to Battles for Survival, Kings of the Five Worlds. This is the Serengeti. At this time of year, millions of wildebeest arrive in droves, along with hundreds of thousands of zebra and gazelle. This place transforms into the world's largest natural nursery. Within just 3 weeks, up to 500,000 wildebeest calves are welcomed into the world. A huge mobile buffet is drawing in every hunter. However, this collective burst of life is actually a strategy for staying in the game. Calves born together have a much better chance of making it through. But the hunters do not care about that logic. They are just looking to seize the opportunity. The lioness is not on the prowl for herself, but rather for the sake of teaching lessons. Overcoming a young wildebeest might seem like a piece of cake. But a mature lion must learn how to wrap things up in the blink of an eye. The lion cub, with instincts that are still wet behind the ears, is learning how to secure the catch. And he must keep his eyes peeled regarding the surroundings. This is a lesson passed down through generations. The future of the pride depends on it. The savanna is also home to creatures with the most unpredictable temperaments. They could not care less who is on the prowl. Do not disturb. The black rhinoceros is one of the mammals at the highest risk of fading away from existence. Just a few decades ago, they nearly vanished from this place, but conservation efforts have brought them back from the brink. The black rhinoceros is famous for poor eyesight and having a short fuse. The horn is a defensive tool, as well as a greeting for any hunter that might cross their path. But they are not the only ones carrying defenses right on their faces in this ecosystem. The warthog eats grass by kneeling on padded knees. This eating posture helps them access grass easier and partly gives them the momentum to make a run for it back to the burrow when a lion comes calling. The burrows taken over from aardvarks usually do the trick quite well. But not this time. Wandering hunters are using the warthog's own posture to pull it out of the burrow. Life and the inevitable end always go hand in hand on the savanna. Whether it is a warthog or a wildebeest, every creature must face the uncertainties decided by hunger and strength. But the Serengeti is also a place that witnesses amazing unity. Even the dry season cannot stop the savanna's finest hunters. The African wild dog is famous for its highly tactical hunting abilities. They have the highest success rate among Africa's large hunters, thanks to constant communication and enduring speed. After returning from the hunt, the parents will bring food back up for the pups. The regurgitation reflex is triggered when the young ones lick the lips of the father or mother. Every meal is a community act. Everyone gets to share and share alike. Conversely, size is their Achilles heel. Frequently, lions weighing 5 times as much will easily steal the catch from the wild dog pack, reinforcing their dominant position. Only a few species in this environment are large enough not to fear any hunter. The African elephant is the architect of the savanna. By pushing over trees and eating tree bark, they keep the grasslands open, stopping vegetation from taking over completely, creating a habitat for wildebeest and their hunters. Wisdom are their greatest assets. The matriarch, the female leading the family, can remember the exact location of waterholes and familiar woodlands, passing this knowledge down through generations, even during the worst dry spells. These riverine woodlands provide shade, food, and water. It offers all the creature comforts. Not every big cat can master the open plains like the lion. Its distant relatives do not have such a variety of prey, so they need to keep a low profile in the riverine forests of India. This is where staying in the game is decided by the power of flying solo. A mother tiger raises 3 to 4 cubs all on her own. Within her vast territory, she must hunt and shield her cubs from risks that are always around the corner, including from their own ill-tempered father. The Bengal tiger is a symbol of a great comeback. This big cat has faced hunting pressure and severe habitat loss. But thanks to incredible conservation efforts by India and neighboring countries, tiger numbers have bounced back. Today, the Bengal tiger accounts for nearly 50% of the total remaining tigers worldwide. but this recovery can only happen where there is an environment superior enough to nurture these solitary hunters. The evergreen forests of India provide excellent camouflage and a steady supply of prey year in, year out. The Bengal tiger's main prey is deer, including the massive sambar deer and the alert spotted deer. They has excellent hearing and eyesight, always reacting almost instantly to any strange sound. The tiger is an incredibly strong big cat. They have a higher muscle-to-body weight ratio than the lion, even though the Bengal tiger subspecies is not as large in size. Sometimes their prey also rivals what the king of the savanna faces, the gaur, the largest living bovine. With a shoulder height of over 2 meters and a weight of up to 1,500 kilograms, it easily overshadows its distant African cousin, the Cape buffalo, which weighs only about 900 kilograms. In terms of muscle, the gaur wins hands down. But strength is not all. The Cape buffalo is equipped with a formidable shield, the boss, combined with a fiery, spirited nature that makes even a lion think twice. Conversely, the gaur, despite its massive size, lacks that protective armor. They possess the spirit of a recluse, are naturally shy, and often choose to retreat into the shadows rather than engage in a direct confrontation. It is this very difference that shapes the hunter's strategy. An African lion needs an entire pride to overcome the spirited defense of a Cape buffalo. But the solitary Bengal tiger masters the game with the gaur by knowing the ancient forest like the back of its hand. It reads the gaur's hesitation perfectly. It does not challenge the robust, dominant males. The tiger's gaze sweeps across the herd and settles on calves separated from their mothers or those who have grown slow and weak. In this dance of survival, muscle power is merely a prerequisite. Situational awareness and the skill to select the right target are the real game changers. Besting a gaur marks the moment when the cubs are nearly ready to earn their stripes. But this forest is not home to just the solitary wanderer. Leopards and dholes are also present here, existing as predators that rank below the tiger. And sometimes they vie for the same prize. The dhole is not simply the Asian version of the African wild dog. Anatomically, they are a unique branch, distinct from the wolf or the Cape wild dog. The dhole is a highly social creature, living in large packs without a rigid hierarchy and allowing multiple females to reproduce. They pursue their quarry in packs, but are primarily active during the day. prioritizing medium and large ungulates like deer and even the gaur. Each of their packs can number up to 40 members, yet the total population remaining worldwide is only around 2,500. Another season of courtship has arrived. After 2 years of raising her young, the mother has heard the call of a new romance. She decides that it is high time for her offspring to stand on their own 2 feet. The youngsters, after moving dens many times, have blossomed into magnificent subadult tigers. It is difficult to distinguish them from their mother, but they are still learning to be the spitting image of her in every way. The tiger's success rate in the hunt is not high, sitting at only about 20%. But with a steady supply of prey and a top spot in the forest ecosystem, these striped warriors will not go hungry. The most important thing when leaving mom to be independent is finding some new real estate for themselves. During this wandering phase, scuffles are inevitable. The established landlords are very aggressive, even if the opponent has backed down. This young female tiger has lost a lot of patience trying to convince her father. The Bengal tiger is the most formidable hunter in the Indian forest, but it is not the only one trying to make a living. The sloth bear, an omnivorous creature, is famous for having a temper and being extremely fierce if provoked. But an encounter between a Bengal tiger and a sloth bear often ends in a stalemate, because both are too powerful and neither wants to risk getting hurt. Tigers are particularly fond of water. They use streams to quench their thirst, cool off, and occasionally swim to another area to hunt. Their superb swimming ability comes from small webbing on their paws, helping the tiger swim up to 10 kilometers continuously. This skill also helps them survive in the mangrove forests of the Sundarbans, where the world's largest reptile reigns supreme. With a bite force generating up to 1.5 tons and perfect camouflage abilities, the saltwater crocodile is a constant risk. Their menu ranges from turtles and birds all the way to the spotted deer. Facing rivals in the flooded environment, the Bengal tigers in the Sundarbans have become some of the feistiest individuals. But the size of a hunter usually goes hand in hand with the size of its main catch. Lacking large prey like the gaur or sambar deer, the tigers in the Sundarbans weigh only half as much as forest populations, around 100 kilograms for a male. Meanwhile, the salties in the mangrove forests today can weigh twice as much as them. Genetic studies show that tigers in the Sundarbans have been separated from other tiger populations on the Indian mainland for about 2,000 years. This isolation has created a tiger population that is modest in size, but extremely fierce and agile. And if you are feeling let down because you did not witness a showdown between a big cat and a crocodile, hold your horses. Join me as we travel to where the caiman becomes a very frequent meal for South America's largest cat. Much like the Sundarbans, this ecosystem is also defined entirely by water. But here, seawater does not run the show. This is the Pantanal, Brazil, the largest inland wetland in the world, an area roughly the size of England. During the rainy season, 80% of the area is submerged, turning the Pantanal into a massive freshwater ocean, home to the highest density of wildlife in the Americas. In this environment, the most successful predators are those that have learned to own the river. But it's not the schooling red piranhas, it's the giant otter. At a length comparable to a grown man, they are the largest otters in the world and the most formidable gang of the Pantanal. They are nicknamed the river wolves by the locals. Giant otters operate in groups of up to 10 individuals, constantly communicating with their distinctive, loud, noisy calls. They hunt cooperatively, mainly for fish. The Jaguar caiman, the swamp's largest reptilian predator, is often the one they push around. Such tough customers. So why doesn't the caiman fight back? The answer lies squarely in its size. Unlike the behemoths of the Sundarbans, the Jaguar caiman only measures about 2 meters long and weighs roughly 58 kilograms. Their primary prey consists of fish and piranhas, not large antelopes. This turns the caiman from the swamp's most dangerous inhabitants into those who sometimes have to lay low because the otters are comparably sized and operate in groups. When they are young, Jaguar caiman are just like small lizards lost in a world of giants. At only about 10 centimeters, they become an easy pick-in for the stork. The Jabiru stork stands about 1.5 meters tall, with a wingspan of 2.8 meters, second only to the Andean condor. They are also the tallest flying bird in South America. During the rainy season, which spans from October to April, flood waters in the Pantanal rise from 2 to 5 meters. This place becomes home to 463 species of birds, 269 species of fish, along with 236 species of mammals. One of the most famous species is the capybara. This is the largest rodent in the world. The most impressive weight ever recorded for them is 91 kilograms. They are well known for their gentle nature and unique social behavior. The relaxed lifestyle of the capybara, alongside many other animals, from birds and monkeys, to even the caiman, creates those famous contrasting photographs. Except for this large feline, the jaguar will not let any large prey slip through their fingers. Don't be hasty. One bite pierces the skull. The jaguar's bite force is the greatest, proportional to its body size, of all the big cats. They have the ability to bite right through the prey's skull, as it just did with the capybara. And as I mentioned at the end of the previous section, besides the capybara, the Jaguar caiman is also their regular prey. The jaguar's bite force can even penetrate the osteoderm layer of the Jaguar caiman, putting an end to the dangerous prey with a single pounce. But the bite force is not the ultimate weapon. Like other big cats, the jaguar achieves success through patience, keen judgment, and extreme precision. Therefore, even when the strikes don't hit a vital spot, it still successfully manages prey nearly as large as itself. Along with the leopard, the jaguar has the highest hunting success rate within the Panthera genus, with a percentage of approximately 35 to 40%. Approximately 80% of the Pantanal floodplain is submerged during the rainy season. This is the breeding season for over 140 species of reptiles and amphibians. Among them, another predator to be cautious of when arriving here is the anaconda, the world's largest legless reptile. When they are small, they are prey for both the caiman and the jaguar. But once they reach a size of about 5 meters, and they will continue to grow until the end of their lives, no creature dares to come close to it anymore. Because the cessation of life doesn't come from being constricted to the point of suffocation. It comes from blood circulation ceasing and the heart stopping first. But predators are a crucial link. They help keep the Pantanal ecosystem always flowing, ensuring no creature exceeds its permissible numbers. Few people know that the toko toucan is a dangerous predator. Its colorful beak is an instrument of destruction. It consumes fruit, insects, and sometimes eggs and hatchlings, the little ones of the beautiful hyacinth macaw. Logically, with the toko toucan consuming about 53% of the eggs, this should be an old score to settle. But the macaw needs large tree hollows for nesting. These hollows take decades to form. The toko toucan, with its ability to disperse seeds, is responsible for distributing 83% of the seeds of the manduvi tree, the home that the macaw simply cannot do without. Just like predators in any other wetland, the jaguar also has a gift for swimming. It might seem like it has everything: strength, swimming skill, and an unparalleled bite force, yet the jaguar still frequently finds itself with a headache from one particular foe during confrontations. Let's circle back to the giant otters. Right now, the clear division between victor and vanquished for these two species will be revealed. Giant otters, with their sharp teeth and large, noisy pack, seem to have no hesitation about pushing back yet another predator. Many times their loud sounds make the jaguar think twice, but this annoyance needs to be settled in the most decisive way possible. During its solitary hunting life, the jaguar has learned how to exploit the Pantanal's abundant water resources. Its strength and adaptability have secured its undisputed position as the king of the jungle in this territory. On the other side of the planet, there is another creature doing the same thing. It faces isolation not due to flooding, but due to the ice and scarcity of the far eastern territories. The leopard is the large cat with the widest distribution in the world. From the arid deserts of Africa to the tropical rainforests of Asia, they are the masters of adaptation. But Primorye, in the Russian Far East, is where the limits of life are most severely tested. And this is the Amur leopard, one of the rarest subspecies in the world. The number of individuals in the wild only hovers around 100. Primorye is a geographically strange area. In contrast to the rest of Siberia, the Primorye territory was not covered by ice during the ice ages. This allowed the vegetation and animal life here to develop a unique diversity. This area has 4 distinct seasons, with temperatures that can drop to -30 degrees Celsius. Spring is a desperate race for survival to find food before the giants wake up and smell the coffee. Although it possesses thick, fluffy fur to cope with the cold, the Amur leopard is not among the largest subspecies. Its small size, weighing less than 50 kilograms, forces it to always live discreetly, keeping a low profile and staying away from the other giants in this environment. All the predators in Primorye target the roe deer. Before the spring sun completely melts the snow, the Amur leopard must cleverly take advantage of its silent footsteps in the snow to hunt. The ravens are spoiling the party. When the large species awaken from their winter sleep, the Amur leopard must significantly reduce its hunting range to avoid confrontations. Not only the Amur tiger, but they also have to handle the Asian black bear and the Ussuri brown bear, species that can easily steal prey or cause harm to a leopard cub. When all the snow has melted, the hunts are moved to the night. The giants might be roaming around here, or maybe not, because this area doesn't have much human presence, so bears often hunt at twilight. Summer rolls around and brings lush abundance. The forest thrives with all sorts of berries, and the bear species that enjoy this feast have arrived. The black bear primarily consumes plants, honey, and berries. Although they share this menu, the Ussuri brown bears rarely encounter black bears, as they make their dens at higher altitudes and on steeper slopes than the latter species. The Siberian tiger and the black bear. One likes to mark territory, while the other has a nose 7 times sharper than a hound dog. Direct encounters and physical fights are not frequent. The race to mark territory is the way they communicate the most. Brown bears are 3 times larger than black bears. This difference leads to distinct behaviors for the predators. The ability to assess accurately and handle situations flexibly is perhaps the only reason why the forests of the Russian Far East maintain their majesty and ancient character. A place with a high number of massive predators, yet where confrontations highly detrimental to all species rarely occur. Similar to their relatives in Africa, the jagged cliffs and natural caves on the mountains are the safest haven for the Amur leopard. Female leopards often choose deep caves or inaccessible crevices on cliffs to make their birthing dens and shelter their cubs during the first few months of life. This helps protect the cubs from larger carnivores and from human disturbance. August, autumn. This is the season for the giants to pack on the pounds for the long winter sleep. Blakiston's fish owl is the largest owl species in the world. Its wingspan is up to 2 meters wide, and it is one of the most diligent hunters. Unlike common owls that typically consume mice, this species specializes in salmon. In the fall, they keep a close watch by the rivers to hunt the plump salmon. Their deep, muffled calls in the foggy night are a haunting and characteristic sound of this region. The Blakiston's fish owl is compared to a flying bear with its dense plumage. But they primarily hunt at night because during the day that stream belongs to the actual bears. Autumn is a life or death period for the Ussuri brown bear. They suffer from hyperphagia, a fervent eating frenzy to accumulate fat. Their diet shifts to chum salmon or coho salmon, species that undertake a long migration from the ocean to the streams of the Far East to spawn. When the birthing mission is complete, the salmon offer up their bodies to the rivers and streams of the mainland. Decomposing salmon carcasses release nitrogen and phosphorus from the ocean into the land. Trees along the rivers in the Russian Far East thrive better thanks to the nutrients from the fish remains. Winter arrives again right on cue. Snow is blanketing the pine forest white. The Amur leopard does not drag its prey up trees like the African leopard because the trees here are often too low or not sturdy enough, but they utilize the terrain. It leaves its kills on the cliffs. This somewhat accommodates the smaller scavengers like squirrels, weasels, or the imposter, the leopard cat. The coastal areas of the Russian Far East do not have a great number of predators. This is where the vast winged birds roam free. Steller's sea eagle, heavier than both the harpy eagle and the Philippine eagle. Its majestic appearance and hunting prowess are undeniable. Against the backdrop of the white snow, its black wings, nearly 2.5 meters wide, stand out. Its cold, sharp eyes scan the water below, When they are born, the young salmon live off their yolk sac and gradually grow. When they become fingerlings, they immediately swim out to the sea. However, before touching the ocean's salt water, the fingerlings must undergo the process of smoltification at the river mouth. Their bodies undergo physiological changes so that their kidneys and gills can filter sea salt and prevent them from experiencing dehydration. Their skin turns silver for camouflage, but it is hard to put one past the Steller's sea eagle. The lucky ones that escape will now embark on a new journey. A world much vaster and more diverse than the mainland. The Pacific Ocean, where life is measured by depth and current. A name that brings to mind dirt, rocks, and dust. But if you look at this planet from the other side, far away from the crowded continents, you will see the truth. Blue seas surround and take up the majority of this planet's area, and the Pacific Ocean is its heart. Larger than all the land area on the planet combined, a deep blue abyss that swallows 1/3 of the world's surface. The Pacific Ocean is a water universe. If you sail to Point Nemo, the oceanic pole of inaccessibility located in the South Pacific, the people closest to you are not residents on islands, but the astronauts on the International Space Station flying 400 kilometers above your head. Here, the loneliness is absolute, and life is a miracle. But the stillness on the surface is just a sweet lie. Beneath this crushing water pressure, a monster is awakening. The Ring of Fire. A 40,000 kilometer-long, horseshoe-shaped fracture zone surrounding the ocean, where tectonic plates collide in a slow, violent dance. 75% of the volcanoes on Earth are located here. 90% of the earthquakes occur here. The Pacific Ocean was born of fire. This very destruction builds life. Volcanic eruptions bring minerals from the Earth's core, sowing nutritional seeds into the saltwater desert, creating the first oases for creatures. Giant ocean currents like the Kuroshio or the East Australian Current pump billions of tons of warm water across the world every second, regulating the climate, creating rain, and nurturing life thousands of miles inland. For every breath you take, give credit where credit is due to the Pacific Ocean. Trillions upon trillions of microscopic plankton, Prochlorococcus, the invisible architects of the atmosphere, are photosynthesizing right below those waves. They generate more oxygen than even the Amazon rainforest. In this world of water, life exists at unimaginable extremes. From ancient single-celled organisms to the greatest giant to ever exist in Earth's history, the blue whale. Its heart weighs as much as a car, but even this behemoth is just a tiny grain of sand compared to the profound depth of the Pacific Ocean. Welcome to the Coral Triangle, the planet's most expensive slum. It might look like a vacation paradise, but don't judge a book by its cover. This is the Pacific's most densely populated battlefield. Here, space is gold, and privacy is a luxury that doesn't exist. Every resident here wakes up with the same singular goal: to eat lunch and try not to become someone else's lunch. Parrotfish are the neighborhood's noisiest builders. Their survival tactic: eating what no one else can consume. These super hard teeth are designed to grind coral limestone to extract the algae clinging inside. A truly formidable diet. But the parrotfish's real struggle begins when night falls. Their enemies, the moray eels, hunt using their sense of smell. The parrotfish's solution is to weave itself a sleeping bag from mucus secreted from its mouth. A perfect shielding membrane. It sleeps soundly in its own slimy cocoon, effectively becoming invisible to the nose of its foe. A little messy, but completely safe. In a world full of killers, how does a tiny fish avoid being consumed when it swims into a predator's mouth? The answer is to become a doctor. This is the cleaner rasa. They open public health clinics on the coral reef. Clients line up, waiting to be cleaned of parasites and dead skin. It's a rare armistice agreement. Later studies show that the cleaner rasa is scary smart. They know how to distinguish between VIP clients and casual visitors. If a large fish arrives, they serve diligently. But if it's a small, gentle fish, they might cut corners by nipping a tender scale instead of catching parasites. But if trickery doesn't work, all bets are off and violence takes over. May I present the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, the mantis shrimp. Don't let this clown-like, colorful armor mislead you. This creature possesses the ocean's most advanced biological weapon. Its club-like appendages burst out at a velocity of 80 kilometers per hour, faster than a .22 caliber bullet. It's so fast that it creates a phenomenon called cavitation. Gas bubbles explode due to low pressure, creating temperatures comparable to the surface of the sun for a split second. The unfortunate crab is not just struck, it is also cooked right at the point of impact. For the mantis shrimp, survival means knocking out the competition before they even realize what hit them. Speed is not the boxfish's claim to fame. In fact, it swims as terribly as a plastic box floating down a river. So how does this bright yellow sausage survive? First, design. Its skeletal structure is a rigid box that is nearly impossible to bite through. Second, chemical warfare. When stressed, the boxfish secretes a powerful neurotoxin from its skin, turning the surrounding water into a deadly cloud. It is an armored tank filled with poison. In another hidden corner, the struggle for survival unfolds in silence. The cuttlefish is a master of camouflage and psychological warfare. Its skin contains millions of pigment cells, which are controlled directly by its brain. A living, high-resolution television screen, but its most intimidating skill is hypnosis. By generating bands of color waves that rush across its body, the cuttlefish overwhelms the visual system of its prey, causing the victim to freeze up in confusion. It transforms its body into a weapon of mesmerizing suggestion. And of course, we cannot overlook the most famous resident who also has the worst temperament on the coral reef. The clownfish. Forget the cartoons. In reality, clownfish are violently territorial. They live within toxic anemone clusters, protected by a special mucus layer covering their skin. But their most peculiar battle for survival lies in the issue of gender. All clownfish are born male. The largest, most aggressive individual will undergo a sex change to become the dominant female leader. If this queen passes away, her male mate will undergo a biological transformation, becoming the new female to inherit the throne. Here, to ensure the survival of your lineage, you must be ready to literally change yourself. Amidst that frantic chaos, there is one calm voyager, the green sea turtle. It has survived a childhood full of pitfalls on the sandy beaches, gotten through years of hiding in the seagrass meadows. Now, its sturdy shell is an impregnable fortress against most predators on the coral reef. But an ancient instinct is calling. To seek food and a mate, it must leave this safe, crystal city. Before it lies the final frontier, a place with no cliffs for hiding, a place with no seabed for resting, only endless blue depths and the true monsters. We have left the safety of the coral reefs behind. Welcome to the open ocean. This is the largest biological desert on Earth. A vast area of empty water stretching for thousands of miles. The rules of the game change completely here. There are no rocks to hide behind. There are no caves for escape. Survival depends on two things: how fast you swim and how early you get the drop on your enemies. The first pitfall often comes in the most beautiful disguise. The Portuguese man-o'-war. It looks like a jellyfish, but scientists call it a siphonophore, a colonial organism composed of thousands of specialized individuals living together. The Portuguese man-o'-war cannot swim on its own. It leaves its fate up to chance with the wind and the currents. A passive wanderer? Not exactly. Its tentacles stretch up to 50 meters long, filled with preloaded, venom-packed, stinging cells. Their venom is a complex mixture of neuroproteins that instantly paralyze the victim's muscles and stop their breathing. It is a floating minefield. The predator doesn't need to chase. It simply casts its net and waits for the careless to present themselves. But the stillness of the open ocean is merely a break between massacres. This is a bait ball. The desperate defensive tactic of millions of sardines. The scientific principle here is the selfish herd. Each individual attempts to swim into the center of the school, using its companions as a living shield. They use their lateral line organ to sense water pressure, allowing the entire school to move synchronously within milliseconds without ever colliding. But today, this defensive wall is about to crumble. The first foe, bluefin tuna. Biological missiles. Unlike most fish, which are cold-blooded, the bluefin tuna has the ability to warm its blood and muscles. The rete mirabile network of blood vessels allows them to keep their body temperature up to 20 degrees Celsius warmer than the surrounding seawater. The result is stronger muscle function, sharper vision, and brain reflexes quicker than any prey. They swim at a velocity of 70 kilometers per hour, piercing the bait ball like cannonballs. And they are not alone. The swordfish, the ocean's swordsman. Its long sword is not used for stabbing, but for slashing. With an extremely rapid headshake, the bill tears through the water, stunning dozens of baitfish simultaneously. It then circles back to swallow them. Above are birds and below are tuna. The sardines are trapped in a no-win maze. When the sun goes down, the ocean changes its identity. This is when the planet's largest migration occurs, the DL vertical migration. Billions of creatures from the deep swim up to the surface to feed at night. And following them is a phantom, the oceanic white-tip shark. The legendary oceanographer Jacques Cousteau once called them the most dangerous of all sharks. Why? Because they are absolute opportunists. Living in the ocean's nutrient-poor desert, the white-tip has evolved to never let a chance go by. They are fearless. They are not hesitant. If the great white cautiously observes, the white tip will charge straight in to investigate. Look at its long pectoral fins, like airplane wings. This aerodynamic feature helps the white tip glide through the water while expending the least amount of energy. It can swim patrol for weeks on end without fatigue. Its olfactory system is so sensitive, it can detect a drop of fish oil in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But its most terrifying weapon is its aggressive curiosity. They will trail ships, waiting for trash or unfortunates who fall overboard. In this utter darkness, the oceanic white-tip is the uncrowned king. Its persistence means game over for the weak. But as the light returns, the old order is re-established. There is one name that sends shivers down the spine of every sea creature, the great white shark. The perfect hunter has been around for over 400 million years. Long before dinosaurs appeared, its lineage was patrolling these waters. The skin of the great white shark is covered by millions of dermal denticles, guiding the water flow along the body to help it swim in total silence. Its body coloration is a work of military camouflage art known as countershading. The greyback blends into the dark seabed when viewed from above. The white belly blends into the sunlight when viewed from below. It is hiding in plain sight. The great white shark's snout, the only sensitive spot, houses a network of small pores filled with conductive gel called the ampullae of Lorenzini. This is its sixth sense. It allows the great white to detect electromagnetic fields emitted by a prey's heartbeat or even the muscle contractions of fish gills from tens of kilometers away. It does not need to see you. It can feel the life beating inside your chest. A single snap of its jaws generates a compression force of 1.8 tons. It is the master of the ocean. Wherever it goes, silence follows. But today, this king is being watched. The ocean operates under a ruthless rule. There is always a bigger fish, but this time size doesn't win. It's intelligence, the orca, the wolves of the sea. Make no mistake, they are not whales. They are the largest dolphin species and the second most intelligent animal on the planet, second only to humans. They don't hunt by instinct. They hunt by culture. Hunting knowledge is passed down from grandmother to calf across generations. Each orca family has a unique dialect, a language that only they understand. Today, their target is not a seal. It's the great white shark. The orca's sonar system is so sophisticated that it not only knows where the shark is, but can essentially X-ray it to know exactly how large and fatty the shark's liver is. Checkmate. This is the tactical genius of the orca. They know a biological secret about sharks: tonic immobility. When flipped upside down, the shark falls into a state of complete paralysis, a deep coma. The ferocious king is now soft and helpless. With the precision of a surgeon, the orca makes only a small incision and extracts the shark's massive liver, rich in squalene and energy. They leave the rest of the carcass intact. That is optimal energy calculation. Why consume tough meat and hard bones when you can eat the most essential part? At the pinnacle of the food chain, there is no place for brute force. Only intellect is eternal. The orca has proven. This ocean doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the smartest. The demise of one king is the beginning for an entirely different kingdom. The shark's carcass is now taking its final journey, the fall. It is sinking to where the sunlight abandoned all hope millions of years ago, where the water pressure is 1,000 times greater than on the surface, enough to crush a tank like a beer can, where the temperature is just above freezing. We are entering Earth's final frontier, the abyss, the deep sea. The blue shark doesn't explode with speed like the short-fin merco. It uses speed differently, quietly and efficiently. This shark silently trails schools of sardines, herring and squid. Then comes a sudden burst of speed, up to 40 kilometers per hour. Its inward-facing triangular teeth target the softest, most vulnerable spots. It strikes repeatedly, wearing down its prey before delivering the final bite. The blue shark hunts and survives using its ampullae of Lorenzini system. It doesn't miss even the faintest electrical signals. When murky waters strip away the power of sight, that ability becomes its second pair of eyes. Sensing danger, it twists its body to dodge a bite, then darts away in a flash. Unlike many shark species, the blue shark often moves in small groups. They use their numbers to herd prey into tight clusters. Their immense energy demands turn them into highly efficient consuming machines. As a result, an adult can grow over 3 meters long and weigh up to 200 kilograms. After a fierce hunt, the blue shark eases back into a calm glide. Its speed drops to under 3 kilometers per hour. It conserves every tailbeat for migrations that can stretch up to 10,000 kilometers. The North Atlantic has recorded individuals traveling non-stop for weeks at an average speed of 3 to 5 kilometers per hour. An astonishingly steady pace on a planetary scale. This is the most wide-ranging shark among those living in the open ocean, a king without a kingdom, surviving on speed and endurance alone. Heading toward the southernmost reaches of Earth, sharks begin to disappear from the ocean. The throne is passed to hunters adapted to life among the sea ice. The leopard seal is one of them. Its body stretches 3.5 meters, sleek like a spearhead, built to glide through frigid waters with remarkable agility. No need for a chase, they wait with patience. A lone penguin waddles toward the edge of the ice. A curious young seal peers into the deep. The moment an opening appears, the leopard seal surges forward and clamps down on its prey's throat. With a burst of speed reaching 40 kilometers per hour, the prey has no time to react. Even when a chase is required, the leopard seal doesn't hesitate. It tails its target from behind or below, using light angles and terrain to its advantage. With strong swimmers, the leopard seal drives them toward the ice edge or into shallow waters. Once the prey is exhausted, the hunt ends with its precise bite. When food grows scarce, the leopard seal seems to become a different creature. Speed is no longer the tool of choice. Instead, it draws water into its mouth, then filters out plankton using its comb-like teeth. A versatile predator, a flexible king built to survive the harshness of the Antarctic. Which one impressed you most? The explosive leaps of the short-fin mako, the stealthy strikes of the blue shark, or the swift ambushes of the leopard seal? Drop a comment and let us know. But not every hunting machine relies on speed. Raw muscle power alone can stir entire ecosystems. In the ocean, some are built just like that. Kings who dominate through sheer physical might. Take the tiger shark, a species that can reach up to 5 meters in length and weigh over 600 kilograms. Its body is a mobile powerhouse, wrapped in rough, armor-like skin. The stripes along its back, tiger-like, fade with age, but its hunting instinct never fades. The tiger shark is a master of opportunity. It hunts anything that moves. From fish, squid and sea turtle, to seabirds and seals. Its mouth holds thick, broad, crescent-shaped teeth, serrated sharp like surgical blades. Unlike sharks that only pierce, the tiger shark's teeth are built to slice. Their thick enamel withstands powerful twisting, strong enough to rip through turtle shells, fish bones, or carcass remains. Both upper and lower jaws hold multiple curved rows of teeth. When an outer tooth breaks, the inner row immediately moves up to take its place, ensuring the hunt never skips a beat. The tiger shark approaches its target slowly. Once the prey is within striking range, it attacks without hesitation. The first bite stuns and weakens the target. What follows is a series of relentless bites that drain the prey completely. The tiger shark can roam through every corner of the ocean, from tropical coral reefs and murky river mouths to the deep waters near continental shelves. It adapts to them all. A flexible circulatory system keeps the tiger shark's muscles steady through shifting temperatures. Its kidneys and osmoregulation mechanisms maintain internal salt balance. Its sense of smell and ability to detect electrical fields remain sharp even in murky waters with unstable salinity. The ocean holds no boundaries for the tiger shark. In the realm of raw power, it's a creature that follows no rules. It writes its own code of predation. Like the tiger shark, the oceanic white-tip shark doesn't rely on speed to hunt. It survives on sheer grit, sharp reflexes, and a relentless instinct that borders on intimidating. That unshakable persistence is what's earned it the title of the most formidable shark in the open ocean. The oceanic white-tip shark hunts in groups. Their sturdy bodies, stretching up to 3 meters long, weave through schools of small fish, herding them into tighter clusters. Then, one by one, they dart in to snatch bites from the prey. When facing large schools of prey, the oceanic white-tip shark encounters fierce competition from the silky shark. But it rarely backs down. In fact, it often dominates its rival. The clash creates a chaotic feeding scene known as a feeding frenzy. At night, the oceanic white-tip shark dives deep to hunt. This species can reach depths of up to 1,000 meters. It follows the ideal vertical migration of twilight zone creatures in search of squid. Its flexible hunting ability allows the oceanic white-tip shark to survive across vast open waters. It claims no specific territory and follows no fixed migration route. Movement is its instinct for survival. The oceanic white-tip can cross thousands of kilometers of ocean each year. It prefers warm waters. Temperatures between 18 and 28 degrees Celsius allow it to stay active without expending energy to warm its internal organs. When temperatures drop, It retreats toward the equator or follows warm currents like the Gulf Stream or the Kuroshio. But the destination doesn't matter. The oceanic white-tip shark is a wandering king. It never stops swimming in search of drifting life across the ocean. And on one of those wandering journeys, the oceanic white-tip shark crosses paths with the tiger shark. Two silent predators, each carrying the fierce spirit of the ocean, yet no battle for dominance unfolds. In April 2024, waters off Big Island, Hawaii, witnessed a rare feast between these two shark species. At least 5 tiger sharks and 9 oceanic white-tip sharks shared the carcass of a whale for over 8 hours. There was no sign of aggression. They circled, kept their distance, and shared the meal in an order seemingly based on body size. In the vast open ocean, strength is the key to becoming a top predator. But hunting doesn't always mean competition or conflict. The giant trevally doesn't have the massive build of a tiger shark or an oceanic white-tip shark. Yet its hunting prowess has struck fear into many shark species. The waters of Palau once recorded an incident where a giant trevally actively attacked 2 blacktip reef sharks. It used its own body, just 1.7 meters long and weighing over 80 kilograms, as a weapon. It rammed into their bellies and under their fins repeatedly until both sharks showed no signs of life. The giant trevally doesn't hunt sharks. This was its way of eliminating competition. But this species isn't always aggressive. Rather than attack, it often trails behind large sharks and monk seals to feed. The giant trevally doesn't fight for prey. It waits for schools of fish to scatter, then targets individuals that break away in panic. The giant trevally isn't the biggest fish in the ocean, but with enough strength it can survive the harsh open sea and stand its ground against even the most formidable predators. If you had the chance to witness a hunt in the wild, which of these incredible creatures would you choose to see in action? Strength doesn't always come from muscle. In the ocean, some predators win with intelligence. They observe, learn, coordinate, and hunt using a range of clever strategies. They use their minds to secure their place on the throne. For the common thresher shark, its intelligence lies in its unique tail. A strange yet powerful weapon stretching up to 3 meters, half the length of its body, and in action, it transforms into a flexible whip. The common thresher shark's hunting technique is precise and fast-paced. The preparation phase lasts just over a second. It charges toward schools of soft-bodied fish like herring, mackerel, sardines, sand lance, or squid. The strike phase follows in a flash, just 0.39 seconds. At that moment, the common thresher shark drops its snout, arches its body, and lowers the base of its tail to build momentum. Then, the tip of the tail whips forward over its head at nearly 15 meters per second. Those powerful tail strikes stun the prey instantly. The wind down phase, lasting 0.51 seconds, is when the shark returns to its normal posture. And finally, during the prey collection phase, it moves in to gather its catch. With each tail strike, a single common thresher shark can consume between 3 and 7 small fish. Each strike lasts only a few seconds, efficient and nearly flawless in precision. The common thresher shark doesn't need overwhelming speed or brute strength. It just needs a well-timed tail swing to turn a chaotic school of fish into a perfectly laid-out feast. Welcome to the Midnight Zone. We are at a depth of 1,000 meters, then 2,000 meters, and still descending. Sunlight has raised the white flag here. The temperature now hovers between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. By all logical rules, this place should be a barren wasteland. But look closely. The darkness is not empty. It is looking back at us. This is the longest creature on the planet, the giant savanna. Like its relative, the man-o-war on the surface, it is a colonial organism. But in this abyss, it must create its own light. This phenomenon is called bioluminescence. In the eternal darkness, light is the language, the weapon, and the trap. The savanna stretches its 40-meter-long body out like a glowing net of doom. This light attracts curious small shrimp, and touching it is experiencing the cessation of life. It drifts like a ghost, a miniature galaxy, quietly consuming life in absolute silence. But if you don't possess massive size and still want to survive here, invisibility is not enough. You need to be able to see things others cannot. Meet the high-tech assassin of the abyss, the black dragonfish. Its body is darker than the deepest night, absorbing 99.5% of the light that hits it. It is a living black hole. But the secret weapon lies in its eyes. Most deep-sea creatures only see blue light. They are completely in the dark about the color red. Exploiting this blind spot, the dragonfish evolved to emit red light from an organ beneath its eye. It operates exactly like an infrared night vision scope. It can shine a spotlight on its prey, clearly illuminating the victim's every movement, while the victim is entirely unaware it is being watched. A hunt where the prey doesn't even know the game has begun. At a depth of 2,000 meters, food is so scarce that spending energy is a crime. Therefore, evolution created a creature that gave up all aggression in exchange for efficiency. The Dumbo octopus. It looks like a cartoon character that took a wrong turn into a horror movie. It has no ink sac. It has no ability to change color at super speed. It moves by gently flapping its ear-like fins, a method that costs the fewest calories possible. It floats suspended, a ballet dancer of the abyss. And most importantly, it does not chew. It swallows its prey whole so as not to waste a single drop of nutrition. Here, cuteness is also a minimalist survival tactic. In stark contrast to the Dumbo octopus is the icon of nightmares, the anglerfish. With its fishing lure containing millions of symbiotic bioluminescent bacteria, it coaxes the curious into the gates of hell. Its stomach has the ability to expand infinitely, allowing it to swallow prey twice the size of its own body. Because here, the next meal might be a month or a year away. But the anglerfish's most grueling battle for survival is not eating, it's love. In this vast darkness, the chance of finding a mate is virtually non-existent. So, when a tiny male finds a female, he makes a chilling decision. The male bites into the female's abdomen. His lips dissolve and his skin fuses to the female's skin. Their blood vessels become connected. He slowly dissolves until he is nothing more than a living testis, a parasite on the body of his mate. He sacrifices his entire self to ensure the lineage continues. We have reached the bottom. But this is not the end. Here, where tectonic plates separate, magma from the Earth's core boils the seawater up to 400 degrees Celsius. The water is saturated with acid, sulfur, and heavy metals, absolutely toxic. Yet life is still flourishing. Giant tube worms. They have no mouth, no stomach, no eyes. They survive by a scientific miracle, chemosynthesis. Instead of relying on the sun, they cultivate billions of bacteria within their bodies. These bacteria eat the toxic sulfur from the volcanic vents and convert it into sugars to nourish their hosts. This is the only ecosystem on Earth that does not rely on sunlight. Scientists believe that this is exactly where the first life began 4 billion years ago. In the darkness, in the toxins, and in the boiling temperatures. And perhaps this is also how life is surviving on the icy oceans of the moon's Europa, or Enceladus, out there. The Pacific Ocean is not just an ocean. It is a time machine, preserving the past and offering a glimpse into the future of life in the universe. Whether in the brilliant coral reefs or beneath this dark abyss, the Pacific Ocean's message always resonates. Life will always find a way. Please listen. Can you hear it? That is not the stillness of peace. That is the silence of disappearance. In the African savanna, the ancient heartbeat of the wild is missing a beat. What was once the greatest stage of life is now just dust. Look at this elephant herd. The matriarchs, the living libraries of the plains, are losing their way. Their memories of water sources are no longer accurate. The drought is no longer a season, it has become an era. But the parched thirst is not as terrifying as the crowding. The barbed wire fences of humanity spring up faster than grass, severing migratory corridors tens of thousands of years old. The savanna is being sliced up, pushing these symbols of natural power into dead ends. Halfway across the globe, at Sundarbans, the fragile border between India and Bangladesh, the battle is not for lack of water, but for too much water. Rising, brackish seawater is gnawing away at this last mangrove forest fortress. This is the kingdom of the Bengal tiger, but even kings cannot command the tide to retreat. The tigers are backed into a corner, forced to swim into villages, not to hunt, but to find a patch of dry land. On one side, the engulfing sea. On the other, encroaching humanity. The Sundarbans are being choked. We once thought water and fire were adversaries, but in the Pantanal, South America, the planet's largest wetland, a heartbreaking paradox is unfolding. The water paradise is burning. Man-made fires, lit to clear land for agriculture, have spun out of control due to the drought. The swamp is transforming into a fiery crucible. The jaguars, the world's most adept swimming cats, now roam on ash with burns on their paw pads. This ecosystem is being drained of its lifeblood to feed endless fields of soybeans. And at the other temperature extreme, in the deep Russian forest, the cold doesn't just come from ice and snow. It comes from isolation. This is the home of the Amur leopard, beautiful, but nearly extinct. The forests are being felled, the habitat is being fragmented into small, disjointed pieces. The remaining individuals live like exiles in their own homeland, unable to find one another to maintain their lineage. They are facing an invisible foe, more terrifying than bullets: genetic erosion. Every one of their footprints on the snow might be the final trace of a species. But all the wounds on the land eventually flow here, the Pacific Ocean. The ocean is running a fever. Rising water temperatures are cooking the coral reefs, the sea's nurseries, turning those brilliantly colored cities into white, skeletal graveyards. The silence here is chilling. And there is another invader: plastic. Billions of tons of waste are floating, weaving their way into the food chain, from the smallest plankton to the gigantic whales. However, the darkness is not the conclusion of this story. Across continents, from the most arid lands to the coldest regions, a new awareness is rising. We are beginning to dismantle what we have fenced off. In Africa and the Russian Far East, the solution starts with connection. As the barbed wire fences on the savanna are lowered and the rigid borders between nations are erased, the flow of life begins to circulate again. The solitary Amur leopards find each other in the snowy forests. The ancient elephant herds rediscover their old water paths. We are returning to nature its most precious commodity: freedom. And in fragile wetlands like the Pantanal or Sundarbans, we are learning the lesson of coexistence. Instead of fighting fire and water, we are learning how to manage them. Farmers in South America are extinguishing the flames with the wisdom of regenerative agriculture. Villages in South Asia are planting walls of mangroves to block the waves, sharing their living space with the tigers. Humans are not disappearing, but we are shifting from conquerors to guardians. But every effort on the land, every reborn forest, every cleared river, all flow toward one single destination: the final battlefield, and also our greatest hope. The Pacific Ocean. It is the lungs, the air conditioner, the life-sustaining engine for the entire planet. We stand before a historic opportunity to establish a Blue Peace Treaty. Science has clearly illuminated the path. Leave the ocean be. By establishing marine protected areas, inviolable sanctuaries where industrial fishing nets are forbidden to touch, we are activating Earth's most powerful recovery mechanism. Just by being protected, corals will once again shine brilliantly, fish will fill the reefs, and the giants of the sea will safely cruise again. When the Pacific Ocean is healthy, it pumps life back to the land. It brings rain to the savanna, cools the Pantanal, and nurtures the ice and snow in the north. It is all one unified system. Saving the ocean is saving our own skin. The future is not predetermined. It is being written right now by your choices and mine. This is our planet, and this is our last chance. And if you have ever had a wildlife journey on any continent, don't hesitate to share your knowledge and experiences in the comments section below. That will be an inspiration and motivation for conservation efforts of nature and rare animals, while also preserving the ecosystem for future generations. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell to continue stepping into the next amazing adventures with us.